A huge moo to the herd, and welcome to episode 22 of our Gregicality Skyblock playthrough. So, been a bit of a gap between episodes. Had some stuff on in the real world, and I updated the pack, and there were a couple of bugs in it, which have just recently been fixed. Well, one of them's been fixed, and one hasn't. The first bug was the issue with making MV superconducting base. Unfortunately, that couldn't be made in the small mixer anymore, so that has been fixed. The other was this giant machine over here, the chemical plant, that if you update the pack will not work if you already have one. The reason being is the integral frameworks, when the Gregicality got updated, that got changed from any integral framework to the, I think it's the HV or EV tier ones. Now, one of the developers has sent me a bug fix. That's the reason mine is working, and hopefully this will be fixed in the next release. Now, one of the reasons I wanted to update the pack was because I've been running around. I've done a bit of automation with XNet. We've got some stuff going on, etc., but it's not really been that great for me. So the mod pack maintainer has included a new, new to the mod pack mod, which is what we're going to focus on for the next few episodes. And that mod is logistics pipes. Now, if you've never used logistic pipes, it's very much like refined storage and applied energistics, in that it allows you to move stuff around, it allows you to do some crafting, and so forth. For me, it looks visually lovely. It's one of those mods where you see lots of blocks moving around, etc. I know a lot of people complain that it can be a bit laggy, but I'm hoping this won't be the case. So our goal for this episode is to start doing some work to get logistics pipes in and trying to get some automation in place. And I think the first thing I want to automate is the logistics pipe stuff itself. And the reason I want to do that is because between episodes, I've been making unrouted transport pipes, which is one of the core components of logistics pipes. And they're hideously expensive and time consuming. So an unrouted transport pipe is 5 item ducts and 4 steel rods for 1. Item ducts, you can get 6 with 6 tin rods. Tin rods, relatively easy. Piece of tin ingot in a lathe gives me 2 tin rods. And hardened glass. Hardened glass, if I just look it up, rather than try and cycle through, is a piece of glass and 2 bits of obsidian. Well, we know how annoying glass is to make. If we go down to my smeltery, we'll find that I have been making lots and lots of clear glass, and that's just by feeding sand into the smeltery. And then I take that clear glass, I stick it in my furnace up the top, and that turns into glass. Obsidian it's really simple. It's just lava. Lots and lots and lots of lava. And I've been putting that through my fluid solidifier up here. We go up here with a block mold, and that's been giving me the obsidian. And then I've been putting that through my macerator to get... You're doing something? Oh yeah, you're doing my own sounds, aren't you? Been putting that through my macerator so I can get the obsidian dust. And the last thing I had to make over here was an MV alloy smelter to then make the hardened glass. So that's a heck of a lot of steps to make one unrouted transport pipe. Is it going to be worth it? We shall find out. So, obviously all those steps, there's lots of backwards and forwards and so forth. It takes a bit of time. So I want to try and make as many components automatically as possible. So let's get started. Now, the first thing we're going to need for our logistics pipes stuff is a power junction, because we can't really do anything without power. And for that we need logistics blocks frames. And logistics blocks frames, again, a bit expensive. MV machine casing, we've made those before. And black steel plates. Now black steel plates is just black steel in a bending machine. Problem is black steel itself, if we go into it, is black steel powder in a blast furnace, which is a combination of nickel, black bronze and steel dust. Steel dust, again, just steel. We've got the blast furnace with the oxygen and iron recipe, so that's done really quickly. And then again, macerate it. Black bronze is gold dust, silver dust and copper dust to make black bronze dust. So there's lots of steps there to make that. So that's, again, one of the things we're going to try and incorporate in, because one of the things I want to do in this next chunk of episodes is just to automate everything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick an MV tier, and I'm going to try and get as much automated using logistics pipes and everything else as possible, because I want this base redesigned. I want machines and everything else working so that I can go to a request table, pull out the things I need, because it's going to make life so much easier when we go into the HV tier, EV tier and beyond. And when we get into Gregicality proper with lots of big multi-block machines and so forth. So our first thing, logistic power junction. So we've got logistics block frames. I have 9 of those. Redstone, we've got plenty of that. And then we're going to need a basic chip. Now a basic chip is a raw basic chip, which is a couple of pieces of copper and a couple of pieces of sand. So that's where I find I have none of the above. Let's find out. Copper, we've got some sand, copper, so a couple of pieces of copper. Have we got any sand? No, I probably used up all of the sand when I'm making up the glass, and it looks like I have. Not the end of the world then. So I will just go grab some cobblestone. Little slots, yeah. Where's my cobblestone? Right. And I'll just put that through my forge hammer. I'll be honest, the constant hissing from the sand from the steam machines has become a little annoying. So again, another goal is to replace all of this with MV tier machines. I want all the LV stuff gone. I want the boiler gone. I just want everything to be electric and quiet. But I'm just going to turn down the sound for everything. It's a little irritating. That's better. Right, so we'll make let the gravel make up. What else are we going to need? Well, we're going to need some redstone. A few pieces here. I thought I had some more somewhere else. And the other thing I need to do is sort out my logistics, because it's all over the place at the moment. Yeah, I'm going to need to make up some more redstone. That's not the end of the world. I actually thought I had some in my centrifuge, but clearly not. Oh, I do have pieces on me. Right, are you finished? You are. Just interrupt my crushed oil sands with it. Alright, logistics power junction. Sorry, basic chips are the one I want. So let's make it up. That gives me 2 basic chips. And we'll just stick these in here. Okay, all glass I've been making up. Alright, basic chips. What else do we need? Some iron, and that should be it. Okay, so over here I've set up a energy converter. That's converting our hopefully I've got this right. I have. That's converting our Gregtech energy into Forge energy. So that's going to charge up nicely. The next thing we're going to need, go from my thing, is the logistics program compiler. Again, that needs a basic chip which we've made, block and some lapis. Hopefully I've got some lapis somewhere. I do. And a couple pieces of iron again. I'm going to pop this over here. Now, I can't remember if this will receive power. Need power? I've got a feeling I'm missing a controller. Let's see, block frame, power junction, security station, crafting table, fuzzy crafting table, statistics table, RF, EU, MJ, and program compiler. No. Logistics request table. No, it all seems good. All right, well, we'll find out soon enough. So we have got power in there. And the next thing I want is the logistics programmer. Now, this needs an advanced chip, which is a couple of diamonds and some raw basic chips. So we're going to need to make up some more basic chips. And it's also going to need an FPGA. An FPGA is gold, redstone, diamond, lapis, and redstone. But we do get 16 FPGAs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause here. And then I will get all those components pulled together. And we'll get those made up and we'll get a controller, and then we can hopefully start using logistics pipes. So be back. So just while everything's cooking up, one thing I forgot to create was a logistics disk, which is 4 pieces of iron, 4 pieces of redstone, and gold nugget. This needs to go into our program compiler. And this basically is the recipes for all of the logistics parts, which we need to unlock. So to unlock it, you just select the item that you want and then click on unlock. And it says there's no power. Ooh, which is exactly what I thought might be the case. Now, will this work, I wonder? Will it work indeed? So, let me just put some stuff away. I can actually operate my diamond ore chunks and some gold. Take my spanner. Get these 2 items. So if I pop my programmer here, I can't remember if these have to be basic or not. It looks like they do. Yeah, that makes sense because right, so what's the basic require? It should just be an FPGA. It is. If I grab these basic chips and stick my FPGAs in. What are you? You're an MV machine person. You're no good to me. Grab an FPGA. That's plus an unrouted. Should be a basic logistics pipe. Now hopefully this should now work. It does. And if I pop this in, hit basic, click on unlock, and now that will work. So if I remember correctly, the rules are that unrouted are exactly as they sound. They are just for running lengths. If you've got a junction at all, or if you're connecting to a machine, they have to be a basic at a minimum for things to work. So we'll let that process, and we'll unlock our basic pipes. And we'll let the FPGAs finish up. We'll get our advanced chips done. And when we come back, we'll start getting some work done. So be back soon. Okay, so we've got our chips. And now we want to make our programmer. So we're going to need some gold and some iron. There's my gold. Piece of iron. There's 4 pieces. And a blank module, which is going to be redstone, paper, and a gold nugget. So I just need some paper. Let's stack those up. Do have some paper. I can make some more later on. Let's make up a few of these actually, because we're going to need them. And this is our logistics controller. Again, I need some space. What can I put away? Copper away, I guess. Right, here we go. Not the one I wanted. That's the one I wanted. So we now have a logistics programmer with nothing on it. And meanwhile, I've had this working on chassis. And you can see on the left, I've got a load of programs now that have become available. So if I click on crafting a logistics pipe and click on compile, that should be a bit quicker, but it will just compile the program. And once that's done, it's available for us to use. It's a bit of a pain because it's effectively just a time sink, because you have to unlock each of the recipes, then go through the compiling phase. But once that's done, that's you. See, I can now, if I put my logistics program in there and hit flash, that will flash the crafting logistics pipe program onto my logistics programmer. Okay, so we've got that done. We've got our power junction in, we've got our programmer, we've got some chips. So what do we want to do next? Well, let's start by popping some stuff away first. I think the first thing I really want is a logistics request table. This is kind of the brains of it all. It's like your crafting grids, etc., from applied logistics, etc. So to make that, we're going to need a chest, not a problem. Block frames we've got. Advanced chips we've got. We need a request logistics pipe Mark II and a crafting logistics pipe. So a crafting logistics pipe requires some redstone, an FPGA, a basic logistics pipe, and a logistics programmer. And this has to be loaded with the crafting logistics pipe. So if I go over here and pop this in here and click flash, this will flash my controller with, or my programmer with the crafting logistics pipe. Okay. The other thing we're going to need is to grab an FPGA. Do we have the unrooted? We do. Make a basic logistics pipe. And what else do we need? Logistics request table, crafting logistics, FPGA, a couple of redstone, basic logistics pipes. Should have everything for that. Except I didn't pick the FPGAs up. And that's our crafting logistics pipe done. You'll notice that the programmer is not used, which is good. So request logistics pipe Mark II. So advanced chip, request logistics pipe, gold, some redstone. So let's go over to our programmer. And if we see, we've got logistics chassis, we've got our request logistics pipe, so we can compile that one up. And once that's done, we can flash that onto our controller and make that one up. But we are going to need the request logistics pipe Mark II, which this will just overwrite the existing flash. We go into this, requires the request logistics pipe Mark II, which we don't have. We've got all the others, but not that one. So we need to go to tier 2 and click on unlock, and that will give us the request logistics pipe Mark II. So I'll pause here because there's no point in you just watching progress bars. And what I'll do is I'll get the request logistics pipe Mark II created up. And once that's done, we'll look at getting our table sorted, get that connected to the network, and we can then see about doing some fancy stuff. So be back soon. Okay, so we should have enough now to make the logistics request table. And that's us done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this in here. And this is basically our grid. So we can craft recipes up here. We can save recipes once we've got crafting tables, etc. in place. We can request items from inventories, etc. And I think that's the next thing I want to do, is connect an inventory up so we can start pulling stuff through. This steel chest here is not just here to look pretty, although it's doing a very good job of that at the moment. I actually want to connect that into our system. Now, the way we're going to do this, and I'm just trying to remember exactly off the top of my head, but I want this to be, if I can type properly, this is going to require a chassis rather than just a straight pipe, because I want to put a item sync module, I think it is, and a supplier provider module onto it. So what that will do is allow me to, if I drop anything in here, it will go into my default chest. It will be the item sync, which will go there. And it will also allow me to provide stuff. So we're going to need three things. We're going to need an item sync module. There's probably that. We're going to need a provider module. Where it is, the provider module. Where are you? I know you were there a second ago. Provider module. I'm going to double check that because there's something that's making me a little dubious. But anyway, I'll do that between that and Logistics Chassis Mark II, which requires a Logistics Chassis Mark 1. I think I already have up. So what I'll do is I'll get these all created up. Again, same deal. Make sure that we've got the logistics programmer flashed with the right thing. Basic chip, FPGA, basic logistics pipe. And then the Mark II is basic chips, some lapis, iron, again a controller. And once we've got those in place, we'll see about connecting inventory up and take it from there. So be right back. Okay, we're back. So I have crafted up our, where are we? Our Logistics Chassis Mark II. The reason I've gone for the Mark II is the Mark I will allow you to install one module, and Mark II will allow you to install two modules. And the Mark III, I think, is 4 modules, 3 modules. 4 is 4 modules, and 5 is 8 modules. So obviously at some point we'll want to go to the Mark V's, but that's a fair way down the line. So I've connected a basic logistics pipe underneath my logistics request table. Now remember that if you've got a junction or a connection, it has to be a basic. I have an unrouted transport pipe sitting there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick another unrouted here. And then I'm going to take my Logistics Chassis Mark II and I'm going to pop it here. And that's giving me my Logistics Chassis Mark II. Now, if you try and right click on it, nothing will happen. But if you use a wrench, like a crescent hammer, you'll see that you've got access to the GUI. So I'm going to take my provider module, pop that in, and I'm just going to take my item sync module as well. And you see the little exclamation marks next to them. This allows you to configure them. So this allows you to whitelist or blacklist items that it's going to provide to your network. So relatively simple. And this one is requested items. We're going to make this the default route. So anything that gets put into our logistics request table will ultimately wing its way here. I've got a basic chest at the moment because I'm having inventory issues, but we will fix that soon. So that chest is now connected. So if we look in here, we've got nothing in here. If I now go stick some gold in here, you'll see gold now appears. And I can click on gold and say, I want 5. Request them. Ooh. And it came up with a log message, which I will switch off because that's irritating as heck. Right, where is it? There it is. Take that pop-up off. So yeah, we can select the item, select 5 and hit request, and you'll see them shoot underneath and they'll appear here. So we can do that. And if I want to put them back, I just drop them in the sort container and that sends it to our default route. Now, one of the things we can do is one of the other item syncs is called a polymorphic item sync. Now, if we use one of those, what that does is it takes a snapshot of the inventory it's attached to and will only allow items that match that snapshot to go into it. So if I had a chest set up specifically for iron, copper, gold, silver, those type of ingots, and I use the polymorphic item sync module, every time I hit the sort option, it would just drop those straight into that chest. And then if it couldn't find anywhere, it would send it through to my default route. So it's going to make our inventory management significantly easier. I'll be honest, I'm not sure if this works with the RF Tools storage. I'm going to have to play around with that. If it does, we might use that. Otherwise, I'm just going to use chests. But we've got the basics of our logistics pipe system in place. One thing I might do is drop these pipes down lower so I can put the floor back in. But yeah, we've got the foundations. So now in the next few episodes, we're going to start looking at automation. And as I said at the start of the episode, I'm going to start automating the various components of logistics systems, logistics pipes, because that's going to be the thing we're going to be using the most. And as we expand, the last thing I want to be doing is handcrafting things. So I hope you join me in the next episode, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to give it a like. If you'd like to see more episodes, then please feel free to subscribe. Until then, I wish you a very pleasant day. Goodbye.